When driving in Arizona, move over or slow down for any flashing lights. Move over for tow truck drivers, highway crews, and emergency responders. Move over for any vehicle with its hazards flashing. Because at 65 miles per hour, a vehicle travels over 95 feet in 1 second. 1 second that could change everything. When you move over for anyone, you're not just doing it for them, you're doing it for their families. Their lives are flashing before your eyes. Move over, Arizona. Every vehicle, every time. It's the law. Please visit moveoveraz.org. This message is brought to you by ADOT and this station.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, choose the attorneys at Sweet James. They help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. Free case review. Help available 24/7. Hablamos español. 800-9-MILLION. 800-9-MILLION. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James, LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
It pays to play at your local home for Caesars Rewards, Harrah's Auction Casino. With the nation's largest and most rewarding casino loyalty club, your play grants you perks at more than 50 destinations across the nation. Stay, play, splash, and dine, and then take in a Vegas show or steal away to Lake Tahoe. Because with Caesars Rewards at Harrah's Auction Casino, it always pays to play. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
Try the Chicken Melt Trio at Port of Subs. Protein-packed with bold sauces and built to crush cravings. Order now at portofsubs.com.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
Have you tried my Colombian tamales?
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are way better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt, tamales deserve Pepsi. No matter what tamales you love, enter for a chance to win a year's worth of groceries. Powered by Pepsi. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or over. Ends April 5th, 2026. Rules at pepsipromo.com/free groceries. Pepsi service.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
The Friday edition of the lunch break right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert and Chris Schubert alone with you here today. Yes, that's right. Solo Chris edition of the show. Producer Evan getting his vacation started a little bit early. Mine starts over the weekend, so it's just the two of us, you and me, for the next 2 hours here today. We'll recap the Suns' action last night. We'll also talk about the news around the Phoenix Suns from this morning. We'll get you ready for Team USA's first pool play match tonight in the WBC. And it's the eve, sort of. It's like Christmas Eve, just a couple of days in advance for NFL free agency. Now, before we get into the Suns and the disappointing loss last night to the Chicago Bulls, and trust me, I've got plenty of thoughts on all of that. I will tell you, it is nice to sit here in the studio and look up at the television that I have turned on in front of me and see meaningful baseball being played. The WBC got underway, 2 nights ago? And now as we sit here today, there is baseball on right now. I've been flipping the channels back and forth between some of the pool play in the WBC, and it's going to go on all day today with Team USA. 6 o'clock tonight getting underway. Like I said, we'll get into that and preview the Team USA and their matchup tonight and this entire run that we all hope they go on a little bit later on here in the program. But boy, is it nice to start the show, to start the day, and have some competitive, meaningful, important baseball in all of our lives, because that means we are ever so close to the start of the regular season. It is the regular season in the NBA, and last night was a tough one for the Phoenix Suns. Could never get it out of first gear, struggled from the word go, and against a team that's below 500, against a team that had lost, 12 of their last 13, it was a loss last night for the Phoenix Suns.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
105-103, the final. It doesn't really tell the story, but the Suns fell to the Chicago Bulls, never led in this game. The Chicago Bulls had a firm grasp on this game from the word go, and the storyline all throughout the game was the Suns could never put together that run. They could get it to 5, they could get it to 4, but they could never push past that. The Bulls seemingly had an answer for the Phoenix Suns every time it got that close. Now, in the fourth quarter, the Suns got it, down to 1 after a Devin Booker made 3. They couldn't knock down the shots to take the lead, and it is a loss to a team that is below 500. We told you it's been a talking point for us here, the last 2 days on the show? Wednesday and Thursday, we spent a lot of time on this. Phoenix Suns have dominated teams that are below 500. They have taken care of business against those teams. Before last night, 20-5 against teams below 500. Just owning that part of their schedule, doing what you're supposed to do, not falling into the idea of a trap game. Team on your schedule, you're much better than them. Our effort level is always top tier. We're always going to play gritty. We're always going to play tough. We're never going to take a game for granted. So we thrive against teams that are below 500. Well, the Suns did not thrive last night. In fact, the Suns, just like they did earlier this week against Sacramento, it was a rough start out of the gate. Usually, I don't like to just read stats off of a box score because they don't always tell the story of the game. But boy, do I think the early stats from the game last night tell the story of how the Phoenix Suns got themselves into an early deficit, played one of the worst first halves you're going to see this team play all season. Trailed by 5 at the break and could never get themselves in the lead. The momentum shifted in their direction and applying pressure to the Chicago Bulls. I think the first quarter stats tell the entire story. How about a Suns team that was 2 of 12 from behind the three-point line? Now, I don't need the trademarked lunch break calculator because they actually have the numbers here for me right in front of me on this monitor. 16.7% from behind the three-point line. They were 8 of 23 from the field. 34.8%. They couldn't shoot. They were getting some decent looks. The shots weren't falling, and they were making it way too easy on Rob Dillingham and Colin Sexton. Those two players in particular crushed the Suns in the first 3 quarters. It was easy for those guys to get to the rim. 68 points in the paint last night for the Chicago Bulls. Now, this doesn't all fall on the big men in the center, but those two guys, Oso and Kaman Malawach, who we're going to talk about today because Roll elevated last night, and we're going to break down his performance. It's not all on those two guys, but it starts with those two guys. 68 points in the paint. It was too easy for the Bulls to get to the basket. It was too easy for them to respond every time the Suns made a little bit of a push, a tiny push, a bucket here, a steal there. All of a sudden, 11 becomes 6, 9 becomes 4. The Bulls always seem to respond. And for the second time this week, against a team, first the Sacramento Kings, then last night the Chicago Bulls, you got off to extremely slow starts. 20 points in the first quarter. Less than 17% from behind the three-point line. Devin Booker played last night. Jalen Green played last night. Royce O'Neal played last night. Grayson Allen played last night. These are guys that are, you expect them to knock down shots. You expect them to get off to a better start than 2 of 12 from behind the three-point line. So another slow start, and they could just, Jordan Ott was trying everything. He called 2 timeouts so early in the first quarter to try to find a lineup, a grouping that could give any type of momentum. And you've seen it. You've watched this Suns team long enough this year. You know They always have that one big run in them, and you feel the momentum shift in the game. Last night, it was almost the opposite. It was almost like every time you thought, oh, this is the run, this is the momentum swing, they would miss a shot. They would turn over the basketball. They would commit a bad foul. It was everything that you've come to not expect from the Phoenix Suns this season. And unfortunately, yes, it is a loss to a team below 500. And if producer Evan was here, he'd probably be screaming about losing what he describes as a must-win basketball game. I said it is a should-win basketball game. You can't be dropping games like this to teams like that. The Bulls coming into the game last night, 12 of their last 13, they've dropped. You're at home. I know you played Sacramento earlier in the week. I know that was a tougher game than any of us wanted it to be. But the effort level was a problem last night. It wasn't the effort that we've all come to expect from this franchise, especially this year's group. And now you got to worry about the second game of a back-to-back because you lost last night and you poured everything effort-wise into trying to win that game last night. You tried to put run after run after run together, and it never worked. And so now you got to go right back at it tonight to take on a New Orleans team. Yet again, for the third time this week, a team that is below 500, a team that you should beat. And listen, we did the math earlier in the week. If you take their 80% winning percentage that they had before last night, 20-5 against teams below 500, 7-2 is what we'd like to see them go the rest of the way against teams below 500. Okay. Last night is one of the two losses that we expected if we ran that math out. You only get one more. You only get one more performance like last night. You only get one more slip up, one more quote-unquote trap game. That's it. You get two mulligans. You used one of them right away. And now, on the second half of a back-to-back, you're looking up at that 6 seed. You're trying to hold off Golden State behind you. We got 20 games left on the calendar. The pressure's starting to mount. Injuries, right? Mark Williams now going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Yesterday, when we talked on the program, it was, just some soreness. Could have missed one game. Now it's 2 to 3 weeks. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. And you thought that the result last night was bad enough. How about this? You wake up this morning and you see that Dylan Brooks arrested early Friday morning on suspicion of DUI in Scottsdale. Arrested a little bit after 1 a.m. Released around 3:30 a.m. Now, there's nothing that I'm going to say here that you haven't heard radio hosts, columnists, media personalities, friends, family say before. You're a professional athlete who makes millions and millions of dollars. What are you doing? What are you doing driving your car after having a couple of alcoholic beverages? You make millions of dollars. I know the NFL does this. I'm sure the NBA does it as well. They have a number that you can call. Maybe you don't want to call an Uber or Lyft or because you don't want to be in the back of somebody's car and all of a sudden you got problems. The Players Association in the league, they have a service that you can call. Here in this town, you got Waymos. And nobody drives. It drives yourself. It drives for you. Takes you where you want to go. It's stupid. It's reckless. It's dangerous. Could kill somebody. And that's allegedly what Dylan Brooks was doing, driving under the influence early this morning. So you thought the result last night was bad enough. Now you got this on top of it. Dylan Brooks, who's sidelined for the next couple of weeks, and a Suns team that was all good stories, all great, all having fun at the start of the season. Injuries are now starting to pile up, and now you got off-the-court stuff popping up for Dylan Brooks. This is all alleged right now, suspicion, but if it's true, it's stupid, it's reckless, it's dangerous. And every time one of these stories pops up, we talk about, how many more stories do we have to see like this before athletes figure it out? Well, clearly, there's just a decision-making problem here because the resources are there. And athletes never had as many resources as they have right now. So, lost last night. Suns play one of their worst games of the season, lose to a team that they shouldn't lose to. You thought that was going to be the lead story. You thought that was going to be the daily special. And here we are, early this morning, we find out Dylan Brooks arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence out in Scottsdale after 1 a.m. So the game gets done last night. I guess he wants to go out and party in Scottsdale, and this is allegedly what happens. It's a bad night for the Phoenix Suns. And they're back at it again tonight when they take on the New Orleans Pelicans in the second part of a back-to-back. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a little bit. I don't have the schedule in front of me because I don't need the schedule in front of me because I don't need to add a red W. I'm not going to add a red W for a little bit until I'm back here after my vacation. So it's going to be a while. Suns looking to match their win total from last year. They're stuck on 35 games right now. Hopefully they can get it done tonight and go into the weekend matching their win total from a year ago. 480-864-1060 is the phone number if you want to join us here today on the program. Now, I am the host and producer here today, so if you're going to call in, you're going to have to do it in between commercial breaks so that I can actually talk to you and get you on the air. But that is the phone number. If you don't want to wait for that, you've got the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel where you can watch this show. And if you're watching, you probably are catching me glancing up at the television because I got Mexico, Great Britain, Pool B, WBC action on. So apologies if I seem a little distracted today, but our guy Code over on the YouTube said, shout out to Eddie Johnson. He saw trouble extremely early in the game, way before it was obvious to probably most of us. I mean, I was listening on the radio at the start of the game. I was at my daughter's softball practice last night, and you could just tell things were just clunky. Things were out of sorts in the early part of last night. And then you add on top of that, right, things aren't looking right. They're not feeling right. In my case, they weren't sounding right. But then you add on top of it, wide open looks not going down. Right, that was what the radio broadcast was really selling. Like, they're getting some decent looks. 2 for 12 behind the three-point line in the first quarter. They ended 13 of 46 in the game, 28% from behind the three-point line. And you go up against the Bulls team, they don't shoot a lot of threes, only 28 of them. They dominated you in the paint. 68 points in the paint, 22-10 in fast break points. They beat you in the paint, and they beat you in transition. You just didn't have an answer for that all throughout the game, and nothing that Jordan Ott tried to do got the Suns that magical run. They got it as close as, 1 point in the game, but they could never flip the momentum and put max pressure on Chicago. It felt like Chicago always had the answer last night. And so now you got to try to bounce back. You got to try to figure it out tonight against New Orleans. Like I said, 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. The KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream, another way for you to join us here today on the show. When we come back, we know quarterback is a need, but what else should be a major priority for the Suns when we get to free agency next week? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
When your average fan goes to an NBA game, it doesn't matter if it's game 1 or game 82. Everyone healthy should be on the court getting 110% max effort. We've seen what a player like Victor Wembanyama could do to a franchise. All the greatest of the greats, when they hit the franchise, their team becomes an instant playoff team. I hate when players that are healthy are not playing in a regular season game.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
This is Michael with Restore My Civil Rights. Tax season is here, and for many people, that refund check is an opportunity. If a past conviction is holding you back from constitutional rights, your tax return can be an investment in your future. Instead of spending your refund on something temporary, use it to remove legal barriers from your record and restore your standing as the law-abiding citizen you've worked hard to become. To book a free consultation, call 855-GUN-RIGHTS or visit RestoreMyCivilRights.com today. That's RestoreMyCivilRights.com.
Life can change in an instant. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can feel overwhelming. The pain, the stress, and the uncertainty of what comes next. You don't have to go through it alone. The attorneys at Sweet James understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact an accident can have. They're here to help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to under the law. When you call Sweet James, you're connecting with a team of attorneys experienced in handling serious injury cases. Their work is driven by preparation, advocacy, and a genuine commitment to helping clients seek accountability and justice. Every case is different, and outcomes depend on the specific facts involved. If you've been injured in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James for your free case review. They handle everything for you so you can focus on healing. That's the Sweet James advantage. Help available 24/7. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Stained. Break the Cycle 25th Anniversary Tour. Featuring Seether. Stained. October 13th, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. With special guests, Hoobastank and Hinder. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union series.
You may think you know drag racing, the chills, the speed, iconic moments, but this season, it hits different. 75 years in the making. The crowd's locked in, waiting for that moment. The moment of realizing you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Whether you're a longtime fan or feeling earth-shaking horsepower for the first time, you're part of the story now. Expect the unexpected March 20th through 22nd when NHRA roars into Phoenix. Get tickets at NHRA.com today.
It's Truck Month at Tim Hovick's Santan Ford. F-150s, Lightnings, Super Duties. Right now, get 0 down, 0% financing for 60 months, and 0 payments for 90 days. That's a brand new Ford truck from Santan Ford with nothing out of pocket. Nobody in Arizona beats Tim Hovick on truck deals. Nobody. We've got the inventory, we've got the financing, and we're moving metal. Truck Month is on, and when they're gone, they're gone. Tim Hovick's Santan Ford in Gilbert or santanford.com. Restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. What's kept secret in the NFL is the Buffalo Bills needed to get some help for Josh Allen and reportedly will in the form of Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. According to reports, the Bears will send Moore and a 5th-round pick to the Bills in exchange for a 2nd-round pick. Could see this one coming from a mile away. Moore clearly was no longer option 1 or 2 or even 3 in Chicago on a cost-prohibitive contract, and his numbers had gone down each of the last 3 years. And for whatever reason, he never got on the same page with Caleb Williams. But he gives Allen a weapon that he did not have previously and obviously improves them. That said, at 29, is he a game-breaking true number 1? Obviously, Chicago didn't think so, and they no longer needed him, but he is Buffalo's new number 1, and they do need him. So, great deal for Chicago, good deal for the Bills. Question now is, what do the Patriots do in response? I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The roar of the NTT IndyCar Series is back.
Robert Wickens, your leader, in for his final stop of the night. These guys haven't made a mistake, but a little problem with the right rear.
Take a look to the inside. No hit, slams the door into turn number 1.
They're side by side. Joseph Newgarden has made the pass.
Listen to the NTT IndyCar Series at Phoenix Raceway, live this Saturday.
12:30 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert hanging out with you here today on a Friday. On Monday, 10 a.m. Excuse me, 9 a.m. See the time change, it gets me. Sneaks up on me every single year. The time changes this weekend. 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday, March 9th, is when teams can start negotiating and agreeing with players. That is when we will get our first glimpse into what the Arizona Cardinals offseason plans will be. All eyes, obviously, are on the quarterback position. All of the focus is on, will it be Malik Willis? Will that be the decision that Monty and Mike LaFleur make as to who they want as their starting quarterback in 2026. Now, Albert Breer, as part of his weekly mailbag over on SI, kind of threw cold water on the idea that the Cardinals are one of the favorites for Malik Willis and talked about the financials of it. And we're going to talk Malik Willis more in hour number 2 of the program and whether or not it would be an actual mistake if the Cardinals missed on Malik Willis. I don't want to talk quarterback right now. We've done a lot of quarterback talk. We did the Malik Willis, Jimmy G debate yesterday. We've talked about the contract with Malik Willis. He has been front and center in all of this. The other area that I have tried to put front and center in this conversation, and I don't know if I've done an expert enough job of putting this front and center. I don't know. I know that everybody who listens to this program knows how I feel about offensive line this offseason for the Cardinals and how I actually have it higher than quarterback on the list. Because it doesn't actually matter who's under center for the Cardinals next season if they can't protect that quarterback and if they can't have a balanced attack by running the football. It doesn't matter if you bring James Conner back. It doesn't matter if you run out Conner and Benson next year. It doesn't matter if you get the high upside swing with Malik Willis, if he leads the league in sacks next season, because your offensive line is a bunch of traffic cones. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be able to evaluate Malik Willis. You're not going to be able to evaluate the head coach. You're not going to actually know if you're on the right path. See, next year, many of you out there listening want to tank, your team tank. And you're going to battle and you're going to fight me all season, all summer. We're going to have this little dance between team tank and team competitiveness. And we're going to do it in the middle of the season. We're going to have this battle all summer long. But I think the one thing that both team tank and team competitiveness can agree on is next year, I want to find out what I've got in my head coach. It's kind of why I lean team competitiveness, because that's the way I think you get the answer. If you don't have an offensive line to protect who's ever playing quarterback and to be able to open up those running lanes for your running backs, whoever they may be, you don't stand a chance. You think you're going to be able to close the gap on San Francisco with a bad offensive line? You think you're going to be able to be more competitive against the Rams if you don't make major changes to this offensive line? The defending Super Bowl champs against that defense, you think you're going to be able to be competitive if you run back a similar offensive line than the one you had a year ago? If you do that, then it doesn't matter that you fire Jonathan Gannon. It doesn't matter that you've allowed the pendulum to swing to the other side and have gotten an offensive-minded coach. It doesn't matter because you're not going to stand a chance. 3 new starters, a right tackle and 2 guards. That is what needs to be accomplished this offseason. Free agency, a trade, the premium draft capital that this organization holds, including the number 3 overall pick. All of these different ways to get it done. That's the task. 3 new starters, 2 guards, and a tackle. You've used free agency in the past to try to fill these voids, and you've missed. Jonah Williams was a miss. Will Hernandez had some flashes, but couldn't stay on the field, couldn't have a high floor. You have to go back to the drawing board. And free agency happens in waves. There's wave 1. It's where all of the big names come off the board. And then you have wave 2, which is those mid-tier free agents that kind of wait for the top of the market to settle. I think the Cardinals need to strike in wave 1 on at least 2 starters. I've mentioned his name before on the show. I'll do it here again. Braden Smith would be one of my top targets this offseason if I was Monty. I would want my right tackle next season to not be an unproven young player that I took number 3 overall. I just wouldn't go down that path. I understand the control, probably a higher ceiling if you take somebody in the draft. I get all of the reasons, but I need 2 solid bookend tackles. I've got one in Paris Johnson Jr. as long as he stays healthy. I need somebody on the right side that brings me a high floor. And Braden Smith does that. The former Indianapolis Colt, who's now hitting free agency. One of the better pass blockers you're going to see in the game right now on the right side. Proven track record. Yes, he's had some injuries in the past, so you worry about another Jonah Williams situation, but it hasn't been a ton of time in the way it was with Jonah. That, to me, is the swing you take. Now, guard, way more options, I think, on the interior offensive line. It's really kind of what flavor of ice cream you like. Do you like strawberry? Do you like traditional vanilla? Do you like chocolate? You're a Rocky Road guy. It's just choose your flavor. You got the John Simpsons of the world. You got the Samalus of the world. The Elijah Vera Tuckers, the versatility. I can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. I'm familiar with Mike LaFleur's system. I've been coached by Mike LaFleur in the past. I can play right tackle if you have an injury. I can play center if you've got an injury. I can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. Maybe that is something that just sticks out like a sore thumb in a good way for the Cardinals, that versatility. The ability to be a Swiss Army knife. But you can't tell me that the options aren't there. You can't tell me that the Arizona Cardinals don't have an opportunity to get better this offseason. You may not want them to. You may be a believer in Team Tank. But when you look at the needs of this team, what we actually think would make them a better unit, a better team next year, to raise their 4.5 win total that I've seen floating around in Vegas, their needs match up almost 1-to-1 with this free agency class. You look at the top 100 prospects available, just wherever you want to look. I've got ESPN's up right now. You can look at the Athletics. The names are almost interchangeable, but we'll use ESPN's right now. Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher, number 1. That would be a fit. Tyler Linderbaum, center. That would be a fit. You can move Yoda Froholt to a different position. Maybe Linderbaum can go play guard. That would be a fit. Jalen Phillips, number 3, edge. That would be a fit. Rasheed Walker, offensive tackle. Number 5, that would be a fit. Odafe Owe, edge. That would be a fit. Number 6, Braden Smith, number 7. That would be a fit. You look at any places, top 10, top 15, top 20 free agents. The Cardinals' needs match up perfectly. So there's no excuse. It's there for them. And they've got the cap space. They made a couple of moves yesterday, which we'll get to a little bit later on here in, I think, this hour of the program's where I've got that. No, it's actually the top of hour number 2. They made some cuts yesterday that freed up about $11 million in cap space. Perhaps there's more coming today and over the weekend. But they're creating cap space. Maybe it's just for Malik Willis. Or maybe it's for a major offseason that sees the Cardinals spending a lot in free agency to go out and fix some very easily recognizable problems that they had last year. Quarterback, yes, it's always going to be the thing that generates the headlines. And Malik Willis is a buzzworthy enough name to where he is dominating the airwaves. We've done it on this show. But man, offensive line also a part of that conversation. And I think it should be number 1 on that conversation. 480-864-1060. It's the phone number for you to hang out with us here today, or just me. Producer Evan was on a plane last night. He's already on vacation. I don't even know if he's even listening, checking in with the program here today. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Our guy Code, they could get better and not have much of an increase in wins. In addition to their own division, they play the AFC West teams, Detroit, Philly, at Dallas. Yes, I know what the schedule looks like for next season. But that doesn't mean you just punt on a year right away and say, oh, we're not going to try to get better. We're not going to try to set our head coach up for success. You're not signing Malik Willis as a 1-year stopgap to try to win next year. You're signing Malik Willis in the hopes that he is a long-term answer at quarterback, and so you start the turnaround process now. So, yeah, maybe you win 6 or 7 games, but you put yourself on the right path to where 2 full off seasons, 2 full drafts under Mike LaFleur with his philosophy and his coaching staff bears fruit of maybe a 10-win season, making the playoffs, winning this division, being competitive in this division. I've never once said this offseason is about a quick fix. Right? LA, the Rams, they're kind of pushing all the chips in the middle, right? They re-signed Cam Curl this morning, not even letting him hit free agency, right? They trade for Trent McDuffie. They're pushing all their chips in the middle for one more run with Matthew Stafford because they know their time is limited. It's not what the Cardinals are at. The moves that I am campaigning for the Cardinals to make this offseason are not in service of a 1-year window. They are in service of a larger project of getting this team back on track. And you've got to start somewhere. This isn't Madden. You don't just stink for years and years and years and stockpile draft picks, and then instantly you win 14 games. Doesn't work that way. Even the Patriots, who went from winning, 3 games last year to winning 14 this year and going to the Super Bowl, they invested in the draft and in free agency. They changed coaches. It was year 2 of Drake May as their quarterback. It wasn't instantaneously that they drafted him and it turned around. There was work that needed to be done. The Cardinals need to start that work this offseason. When we come back, Mark Williams, he's going to miss the next 2 weeks. So that means it's come on Malawatch time. We'll talk about that next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Indiana is not cheating. Lining up and punching the other guy in the face for 60 minutes, not against the rules. I challenge any of you social media whistleblowers to tell Kurt Signetti to his face that he is a cheater.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. Life can change in an instant. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can feel overwhelming. The pain, the stress, and the uncertainty of what comes next. You don't alone. The attorneys at Sweet James understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact an accident can have. They're here to help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to under the law. When you call Sweet James, you're connecting with a team of attorneys experienced in handling serious injury cases. Their work is driven by preparation, advocacy, and a genuine commitment to helping clients seek accountability and justice. Every case is different, and outcomes depend on the specific facts involved. If you've been injured in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James for your free case review. They handle everything for you so you can focus on healing. That's the Sweet James advantage. Help available 24/7. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, 2 iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Sticks. All the hits, your kind of tour.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match 2 favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $6. This deal is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. is MMA Friday on the Sports Zoo with official UFC ranker Scott Lewis, brought to you by RT O'Sullivan's, your home for every UFC event. The Sports Zoo is the only show in the Valley that gives you 1 full hour of MMA every week, featuring Scott Lewis's official UFC ranking changes, fight predictions for every weekly event, shocking MMA stories, and more. So tune in every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. and then head to RT O'Sullivan's every Saturday to watch the fights. Go to RTOSullivans.com for a location near you.
Back here on the lunch break, you just heard producer Corey talk about it. MMA Hour with the Rooster. Just a little bit of a scheduling update. We're going to have the Rooster on the program today. Last couple of days, ASU women's basketball on their run, which continues tonight. They'll take on West Virginia, 4 o'clock pregame, a 4:30 tip. So the Sports Zoo MMA Hour backing up a little bit. So we're going to have him on here during the program to talk about that, and we'll let you know exactly when you can hear the Rooster, the Sports Zoo, the MMA Hour a little bit later on the schedule today on KDUS AM 1060. That's coming up in hour number 2 of the program. But yesterday on the show, we got you ready for Suns Bulls, and we said, okay, no Mark Williams tonight for the Phoenix Suns. Has some left foot soreness, the same left foot that's bothered him in the past, but it's just soreness, right? I'm sore every day when I wake up. Sometimes you just need a day or two and you're fine. Then all of a sudden, right before the game last night, it was, well, now he's got a stress fracture, 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to reevaluate him. It just went from soreness, going to miss a game, stress fracture, 2 to 3 weeks. Mark Williams out. Non-factor for this team right now. And unfortunately, this is kind of the track record for Mark Williams. These injuries have popped up. They have stopped him from being able to be available on the regular. And now he's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks, 10 or so games he's going to miss. He's going to miss about half of the remaining games at least between now and the end of the season. And we'll see if it's on the 2-week end of that scale or if it's on the longer 3-week end of that scale. And remember, the key dreaded words in here are reevaluated. Doesn't mean that he is immediately going to come back when we reach that 2-week mark or when we get to the 3-week mark. He's just going to be reevaluated at that time to then probably start a ramp-up process. And so yesterday we told you that at least last night, opportunity, door swinging wide open for the first-round pick of the Phoenix Suns a year ago. Come on, Malawach. Nick Richards, who, by the way, got to see a lot of last night, played nearly 30 minutes for the Bulls. Gone, traded at the deadline. Mark Williams, the starting center. Oso Ighodaro, the backup center. Come on, Malawach, you're now center 3. You've been promoted center 4 to center 3 after Nick Richards gets traded. Mark Williams out last night. Now we know it's 2 to 3 weeks. Come on, Malawach, you've been promoted again. You're the backup center. You're the backup center that should get opportunity to show that the patience that the Suns have taken with you, this slow-moving process, was the right one, and it's going to pay off, and that you're going to be able to contribute to this team in a meaningful way. Well, we got a 1-game sample size last night. I think everybody was wondering, how are the minutes going to be divvied up for the Phoenix Suns? Well, Oso Ighodaro, who got the start last night for the Suns, played 36 minutes. You look at the last couple of games for Oso. 36 minutes last night, played 25 minutes against Sacramento, 34 minutes against the Lakers. The game before that, 23, 17, 29, 17, 16, 23, 16, 24. I mean, the 36 minutes, 2 of the last 3 games, he's played 34 or more. So that's been an outlier as of late. But you thought that, okay, he's going to play closer to 30. He's going to play more than, the 28, 25 that he averages now. He's going to be more in the 30 department. I don't know if anyone expected 36 minutes and to lead the team last night in minutes. And for Kaman Malawach to play 12 minutes. And he checked into the game last night. Everybody excited. I'm excited. You're probably excited to see what he could do in this new role that he had. And early on, it was a roller coaster ride. And I think that's the best way to describe his play last night. He was active on the boards, getting a couple of rebounds, but he missed some free throws, missed some stuff at the basket. Just wasn't exactly what you wanted to see from him. Made 1 field goal, missed 2 free throws, got 4 total rebounds. A lot of those came early in the game. I mean, those were his game numbers. If I look at the first half, he played 7 minutes in the first half, knocked down the 1 shot, missed 2 free throws. All 4 rebounds came in that first half. In the second half, I'll tell you what the box score said. It was a whole lot of nothing. 5 minutes of play, didn't take a shot, didn't take a 3, didn't hit a free throw, didn't get a rebound, turned the ball over twice, committed 2 personal fouls. So these are the growing pains. And guess what? Mark Williams out for the next 2 or 3 weeks. There's really no place to hide. Come on, Malawach. They're going to have to play him. And this is his chance. Now, it's 1 game. It's his first opportunity to be in this role as the backup center Now that he knows it's going to be on a regular basis, let's see if he can take this performance and build on it and stack it and play better tonight and play better over the weekend and play better next week and just continue to stack and get better. He's a young player. He's going to have nights where he's great. He's going to have nights where he's so-so. Last night, a so-so night. And I liked at one point in the first quarter, if there was a singular bright spot in the first quarter, and I don't have the play-by-play directly up in front of me, but there was a moment, I want to say it was late in the first quarter, but it might have been early in the second quarter, where there was a string of plays where I think Malawacz missed his free throw. Ryan Dunn rebounded. He then rebounded on the other end, that being Ryan Dunn. He got it out to Rasheer Fleming, who threw an oop to Kaman Malawacz. It was a stretch of plays strung together where it was young players contributing for the Phoenix Suns. It was Ryan Dunn with a couple of rebounds. It was getting the ball to Fleming. It was Fleming finding an assist of Malawacz. It was like that brief stretch of play. You're like, that's the future of the Suns. And it was just kind of a fleeting moment. It didn't last for much longer than the 2 or 3 plays that they were able to string together. But it was that kind of reminded you of, that's what they want this to look like. That's what the future is. That's where we're going, where those plays become more consistent, where these guys are contributing more on a regular basis. So it's kind of like a preview. I wish it was more than just a preview. I wish it was more than just those 2 or 3 plays stacked together in the first half. But I was listening to the game, and I even said out loud, I was like, this is what we want this to look like. This is what the Phoenix Suns should be. And so you just have to hope that maybe the shock value of being in that role, you only play 12 minutes, so you want him to play more. You want him to kind of force Jordan Knott's hand. And I think Jordan Knott last night was just trying everything and anything to get momentum rolling and to try to tilt the court in the Suns' favor. Nothing was working. He was throwing everything at the dartboard. He couldn't find a group of 5, a lineup that was able to push the Bulls until it was too late. And so now we'll see what tonight looks like for Kaman Malawacz, but the opportunities are going to be there. Oso Ighodaro can't play 36 minutes every night. He played 36 minutes last night in the game. Led the Phoenix Suns in minutes. He can't do that every night. It's not going to work, especially in a game last night where he gave up 68 points in the paint. So Malawacz has to contribute. He has to play more. He needs to get more than 12 minutes, or else the Suns are going to have a major problem on their hands while Mark Williams is out. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. I got the WBC up here on the TV in front of me. Mexico up 1-0 on Great Britain in the third inning of a Pool B match. There's just baseball on all day. It is beautiful. We've had baseball already today. Japan last night, Shohei Ohtani with a big home run. We got baseball in action right now. Cuba and Panama, Netherlands and Venezuela. You got Mexico and Great Britain. You got Puerto Rico and Colombia this afternoon. When we come back, we'll talk about the U.S. as they'll take on Brazil tonight. Can the U.S. win the WBC this go around and get a little bit of revenge? We will talk about it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
It's the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series GovX 200 event at Phoenix Raceway.
The NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
Here they come down to the line. Green flag goes in the air.
Heads west to the desert.
And they're wrecking in turn 3. Around goes Williams-Sawalich.
To race under the lights at Phoenix Raceway.
For the final time, Austin Hill has dominated Daytona. Austin Hill yet again will win at Daytona.
It's the GovX 200.
This Saturday, 5 p.m. on AM 1060 KDUS.
Bad Omens. Do you feel love? North American Tour 2026. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. With special guests, Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens. Live in Glendale.
Take advantage of thousands of dollars in SRP rebates and discounts on energy-efficient home upgrades like new air conditioning units, windows, ducts, and insulation. Save money on your energy bill while also making your home more comfortable.
SRP's network of participating contractors can guide you from start to finish and maximize your savings by combining Inflation Reduction Act incentives with SRP rebates. Learn more at savewithsrp.com.
Before Arizona heat turns unbearable, get your AC ready with Ace Cooling, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Whether you need an AC tune-up, fast repair, or a new energy-efficient system, Ace helps keep your home cool, comfortable, and efficient all summer long. Beat the rush. Call Ace today at 602-536-4475 for free estimates and expert service. That's 602-536-4475. Or visit us online at acehomeaz.com. Acing Arizona's comfort needs since '94.
Jumbo Shrimp is back at Del Taco. One bite of Del's Jumbo Shrimp Taco, and yeah, you're on a whole different level of flavor. Top tier, no notes. Crispy golden shrimp, crunchy cabbage, fresh house-made pico de gallo, and savory secret sauce, all wrapped up in a warm flour tortilla with a fresh-cut lime wedge. And right now, get 2 for just $6. They're only here for a limited time, so level up with 2 crispy jumbo shrimp tacos for $6. Only at Del Taco. Del, yeah. Price and participation may vary.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, choose the attorneys at Sweet James. They help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. Free case review. Help available 24/7. Hablamos Español. 800-9-million. 800-9-million. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results. It's the NASCAR Cup Series Straight Talk Wireless 500 at Phoenix Raceway.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Green flag is flying. Here's Kyle Busch. He'll get the advantage on the outside lane.
Annual West Coast Swing begins in the Valley of the Sun.
Allgaier put the block on topside, made contact, and we've got a big one here at Daytona. Here comes Tyler Reddick. He'll make the move. They're crashing behind him. Elliott's in the wall.
It's the Straight Talk Wireless 500.
This Sunday, 11:30 a.m. on KECG 1440.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. We're wrapping up hour number 1 of the show. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. The WBC is in full swing. I'm enjoying some Pool B action up on the TV in front of me. Mexico and Great Britain underway. I believe they're in Houston at the Astros Stadium. But tonight, all eyes are going to be on Team USA. Their Pool B matchup with Brazil. They'll also play the two teams that you're seeing here right now, if you're watching along with me, with Mexico and Great Britain. And tonight, it will be Logan Webb getting the start for Team USA against Brazil. Tarek Skubal will get the second game against Great Britain. Paul Skeens will face Mexico in the third pool play game, and then Nolan McLean will get the start in the fourth and final group game when they take on Italy. So that is how manager Mark DeRosa plans to use his 4 starters that he has available for pool play. Remember, he doesn't have Tarek Skubal after that game against Great Britain, so he'll use him there, and then he'll have to figure it out the rest of the way if Team USA gets out of Pool B and they find themselves into the elimination stages. And listen, I'm a baseball guy. I mean, we say it here on the program all the time, how much we love baseball. And so I was already excited for this. This already gets me jacked up for the start of the regular season. But I do think there has been a movement inside of sports. And I would argue it dates back to the last WBC, where these national, international competitions have really taken the country by storm. And I think you can go back to baseball, not in its highest peak in terms of fandom and popularity, but you had teammate versus teammate with the WBC on the line. You had Shohei Ohtani for Japan on the mound pitching against his teammate at the time, Mike Trout, in the batter's box. Something that you didn't see when they were with the Angels. But you realize one of the best hitters of the sport in Mike Trout against potentially the greatest baseball player to ever play the game in Shohei Ohtani. They're teammates. We don't get to see this. And we get to see it with each of them representing their country. It was something that you dream of. And in baseball, in a sport where you can't put together the matchup, right? You can put the ball in the best player's hand in basketball, right? You can have the ball in LeBron James's hand in an Olympic gold medal game, needing one shot to win. You can do it because you're going to get the possession. You can draw up the play. You can get the ball in his hands. The lineup doesn't work that way in baseball. So you got that moment. That, to me, caused a firestorm in a good way because that led into the Four Nations for the NHL last year, and that led into the Olympics with the U.S. hockey team recently. And I hope, and trust me, they got a lot of other stuff to worry about right now with the CBA and making sure we play baseball in 2027. But I hope there's some conversations about maybe getting back to a place where we can get some major league players playing in the Olympics, and we can take a page out of hockey's book. And I say we as a fan of this sport, as somebody who loves this sport and would love to see it. And I know that's going to create some awkwardness for the schedule, but the NHL figures it out. And I think baseball should try to capitalize on the momentum that their sport is getting and these types of environments, the WBC, the Four Nations, the Olympics. They just put a spotlight on your sport in the best possible way. And so again, it's probably very, very, very low on the totem pole, but I hope somebody brings it up. I hope somebody on the player side brings it up. We want to do this. How do we make this happen to where we can participate in the Olympics and represent our country? Now, you need to get the Olympics on board. You need the players on board. You need the MLB on board. You need a lot of people on board to make that a reality in the future. But I hope that what you're seeing when these types of events come around and the excitement that it generates, I hope that makes some people at least consider the possibility of major leaguers in the Olympics. The U.S. team, they got a lot of star power. We know we're going to see Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. You've got Bobby Witt Jr. You've got Cal Riley, who hit 60 home runs last year. The offense has been on full display in the early part of the exhibition process for Team USA. They've been out here before heading to Houston. They played a couple of exhibitions, and they were showing off the power. They were showing off what this offense could be, and that's never really been a concern for Team USA in the past. Their offense has always been the bright spot, but it's been a question of, do they have enough pitching? And I would argue that this is their best pitching staff that they've had in a long time. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's going to help them win the WBC and get some revenge. But it's the best pitching staff that they've had in a long time. I've mentioned to you the 4 starters that are going to pitch. You got Mason Miller, who's going to be out there as part of the bullpen. You've got Clay Holmes. You've got Griffin Jacks that can be a part of that bullpen. You have Clayton Kershaw. I don't know how they're going to use him. You've got Michael Wacha. I mean, you've got a lot of Brad Keller, David Bednar. You've got guys that you can use out there late in games to get you the important outs. So we'll see how things work out tonight. But I think on the eve of the WBC for the U.S., a couple of hours before they play, I just think back to the excitement that we had here on this show about the Olympics and Team USA and watching the hockey and paying close attention to that, and the excitement that the WBC provided last time with Trout and Ohtani, and the excitement that's around the team this year. And I just want us to get to a place where we get MLB players in the 2028 Olympics. And they're talking about it. I know that the conversation is happening, but I just hope we actually get to that point, because the expectation is that they are going to allow them to participate, but you need everybody to come together, and it needs to be approved by the PA. And again, the PA's got a lot of other things on their docket right now, and I just hope that they would be able to figure this out, because it would just make, now you've got this year with the WBC and the Olympics. Next year, hopefully you can get a CBA so that we have baseball in 2027, and then you have a ramp up for 2028 where you're going to have major leaguers play in the Olympics. Just, to me, it would just be a perfect continuation of what has been this kind of movement for these international events. And the U.S., let's hope that they can find a win here and avenge their loss the last go-around for DeRosa. He's back as the manager. He's looking for some revenge himself. He's looking to win and get a WBC trophy. And there's a lot of talent that's going to be on display here starting tonight. It's Brazil tonight, and then you got Great Britain, Mexico, and Italy over the next couple of days. And when I get back, we'll see if Team USA is see if Team USA is in the finals when I return. But yeah, WBC gets underway. Looking forward to it. And I've already admitted to my family, I'm going to try to find some TVs on the boat to be able to watch the WBC. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. A lot of Cardinals talk. And hour number 2, thanks for hanging out with us. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
It's the spectacular return of Bruce Springsteen and the legendary E Street Band. Land of Hope and Dreams American Tour. Live at Mortgage Matchup Center, April 16th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. An unforgettable night with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. For more, visit BruceSpringsteen.net.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can change fast. That's when the attorneys at Sweet James step in. They help you understand your rights, connect you with medical care, and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. You don't pay anything unless your case is resolved successfully, and help is available 24 hours a day. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tech-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger. In my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus, branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month. And I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
For nearly 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and from home. Don't wait. Enroll today at ChoosePrimavera.com. That's ChoosePrimavera.com.
Meineke always treats your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke's certified technicians will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care. Schedule an appointment at Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Every day begins with the promise of something new, a new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with a patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break right here. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert hanging out with you here today on the show. You can stream us on the free KDUS AM 1060 app as well. And you can watch the program and chat away with us on the free KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, where we've got the live stream going over there as well. I'll be honest with everybody. I am counting down the segments. I am counting down the minutes until my vacation officially begins when we get off the air. Now, don't take that personally. I enjoy hanging out with each and every one of you every single day here on the show, but There's a boat and a pool and some adult beverages that are awaiting me. And I am very much counting down the hours until that occurs. So we're going to get through this hour, and then it is vacation time for me. And for all of you, you've got producer Evan next week that you can hang out with while free agency gets underway in the NFL. And the Cardinals have been making moves. Made a pair of moves yesterday to free up some cap space. Linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither and defensive lineman Bilal Nichols both released yesterday. By making those two cuts, the Cardinals saved $11 million against the salary cap. You have $5.8 million for Bilal Nichols and $5.1 million for Davis-Gaither, which gets them to 10.9. We'll round up here on the show. That gets you to 11, along with a Kyler Murray release. I don't know if we want to put that in the pre-June 1 or post-June 1 bucket, but it puts them, at least according to overthecap.com right now, at $39.6 million. So again, overthecap.com has the Cardinals right now at $39.6 million in cap space. That ranks 9th in the NFL at the moment. Now, there's a couple different things I want to talk about here with everybody. And great story on the Cardinals SI page this morning from Donnie Druin about does a good job of encapsulating actually how this cap situation works. They have $28 million in effective cap space, which moves them from 9th to 11th. Now, what that does is it removes the space that is required to pay a draft class. And so with 7 picks doing what each of those slots is worth, that puts them at $28 million in effective cap space. Now, the Cardinals also have ways to make more cap space. And that's where I want to go now, because they made 2 moves yesterday that weren't 2 of the moves that we suggested here on this program. If you listened to us in hour number 2 of the program yesterday, we kind of did this exercise where we went through and we played around with the over the cap calculator. And we had Kyler Murray as a pre-June 1 cut. We restructured Budda Baker's deal. We restructured Josh Sweat, adding a void year on that. We restructured Dalvin Tomlinson. We're going to keep him around. We released James Conner. We got rid of Sean Murphy-Bunting. We did all of that, and we got to $78 million in cap space. So I just redid that math right here with all of you, including the moves that have already been done because those players have been removed from this. That would get them to $78.3 million in cap space. So the message that I think is very important here is they made some moves yesterday, but I don't think they're done. Now, here are some of the players that they could just cut. This isn't restructured. Let's just talk about cutting. Dalvin Tomlinson, if they chose to cut him instead of a restructure, $9.4 million in cap savings. Baron Browning, $4.6 million in cap savings. Sean Murphy-Bunting, $7.2. Evan Brown, $4.9. James Conner, $7.5. Zaven Collins, $4.3. Those are players that they can cut, and to varying degrees are players that aren't really factoring into their long-term plans. Now, we talked about Dalvin Tomlinson yesterday. I would tend to hold on to him and restructure his deal to be that veteran presence in the middle. But if you just don't want to restructure, add that void year, and give the reins over to Darius Robinson and Walter Nolan and free up the $9.4 million to go out and do other things, get a starting offensive lineman, help you pay Malik Willis, I can't argue with that logic. But I would not be surprised if a couple of these moves, if not a majority of these moves, get made for the Cardinals. And if you do all of them, right, let's make Dalvin Tomlinson just a cut instead of a restructure. Let's cut Baron Browning. Let's move on from Evan Brown like was suggested. What else was on this list that I don't think I have? Zaven Collins was another one that I didn't have. If we do all of that, so a restructure of Budda and Josh Sweat, the cut of Kyler Murray, the 2 moves they made yesterday, Tomlinson cut, Connor cut, Browning cut, Murphy-Bunting cut, Brown cut, Collins cut. We actually did every move that SI story threw out there. $91.7 million in cap space. Let's take away the 2 restructures. $75.7 million in cap space. I said this in hour number 1 of the program, but I think it bears repeating now that we've done the math behind it. There's zero excuse for them not to be better. There's zero excuse for them not to attack free agency extremely aggressively. Yes, they're going to carry a $54.7 million cap hit for a player that's more than likely going to throw touchdowns for Minnesota next season. I'm very well aware that they are going to carry one of the largest cap hits for a player to not play for a team in the history of the sport. But as we outlined to you yesterday, and I think we're furthering the proof today, they can do that and still improve this team. That's a rare spot to be in. The overall financial health of the rest of the roster is in a pretty good place. They've got 2 players technically under contract for 2029. A Josh Sweat void year and Trey McBride. That's it. The other player is Dalvin Tomlinson, who in this exercise we just got rid of. 2 players under contract. And if you take all of the Kyler hit right now in year 1, the 54.7, you eat it all. You don't make them a post June 1. You add the $2 million that it actually hurts you against the cap, and you take the full $54.7 million in a cap hit in one offseason. You set yourself up right now. Now, yeah, they don't have a full roster for 2027. They have $219.8 million in cap space. So you can aggressively spend this offseason. You don't have to use all of it. You don't have to max it out if you don't want to. You don't have to make every single one of these moves. But you make a couple of them because you've got a healthy financial picture over the next couple of years that should allow you to put Mike LaFleur, and yes, I have the drop on this board in this room. LaFleur. Put him in a position to succeed right away. And success, we have to define together. But all I want is a team that looks competent offensively, that wins these close games when they're actually in the position to win the close games, to not blow the fourth quarter leads that they did last year, right? That's what I'm looking for success. I don't need 9 wins. I don't need 10 wins. I know that Mike LaFleur and Monty, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up here. Part of it's Monty's fault. He built this roster. LaFleur just got here. He's got to put his DNA. He's got to put his fingerprints all over this team. I get all that. There's work to be done. It's not going to be done in one offseason, but you got to get better. You have to move the goalposts. You have to make moves this offseason that move you in the right direction. Are you going to get 3 offensive linemen and all of a sudden have a top 5 group next year? I don't think so. I think that's unrealistic. Do I think you're going to sign Malik Willis and he's going to be a top 10 quarterback next year and you're going to have elite quarterback play and you're going to win games that you shouldn't and you're going to be ahead of schedule? No, I don't think that's going to be the case. But do I think you can go from the offensive line that you had last year to a top half of the league offensive line with a couple of good signings? I do. Do I think you can get top half of the league quarterback play with a full season of Malik Willis in this system? I do. Do I think you can have another edge rusher and have a defense that allows you to hold on to leads in the fourth quarter? I do. I think all of those things are realistic. You have the opportunity. You have the means. And you have the purpose, right? You have to get this coach off to a good start. And maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe I'm making more of that than many of you are. But I really think it is important to not do a rerun with Jonathan Gannon, where in his first year he had to clean up a mess and he went 3-14. That doesn't help us learn anything. I want a first-year head coach to be set up to have a chance. Jonathan Gannon didn't have a chance in year 1 to show off if he was a good coach or not. And everybody wrote the year off before it began. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Not with the number 3 overall pick. Not with the cap space that they have and can create here between now and Monday. And not with the types of players that are out there in free agency that could actually turn this thing around, that could actually get this boat moving in the right direction, if we use the boat analogy, since I'm going on a boat this weekend for vacation. So there should be more moves incoming. And yeah, if you cut James Conner, now it adds running back to your list. But you know what? You free up $7.5 million. Maybe you can sign Tyler Algier for less than $7.5 million. Okay, you got a really good running back for less money. That's a net positive move for you. Yeah, you get rid of Sean Murphy-Bunting. It leaves you lacking in the corner room from a depth perspective, but you had a pretty good young group last year, and you can go out and sign a young corner for depth. You're not looking for a starting corner on free agency. I don't know where Sean Murphy-Bunting, if he was on the roster, fits in. I want Will Johnson to play. I want Garrett Williams to play. I want Max Melton to play. It's one of the strongest groups this team has. Sean Murphy-Bunting is kind of unnecessary. It's a nice depth piece to have, but would I rather have the $7.2 million in cap space? I think I would. If that $7.2 million helps me get one of the 3 starting offensive linemen that I need. Yeah, you know what? I think that's actually a better use of my resources. And so it started yesterday with a pair of moves. I tend to think there will be more of these moves between now and Monday so that the Cardinals are set up with a decent amount of cap space. Now, just because they create the space doesn't mean they're going to use it all. But I think they want to have the flexibility to evaluate stuff, to have the options, to be able to be creative. If you don't have a ton of cap space, it kind of gets hard to do these moves. So I think you create the cap space so that you can see where the market is at and you can strike when an opportunity presents itself. And I think there's going to be an opportunity at the quarterback position, and I certainly would hope there are going to be opportunities along the offensive line to get the 3 starters that this team requires. So 2 moves yesterday. I think that is the start of what is going to be a flurry of moves to maximize the cap space that this team will have going into this offseason, which starts on Monday, I guess unofficially, and then officially gets underway on Wednesday. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, would missing out on Malik Willis be a failure for Monty and the Cardinals? We'll talk about it next. The Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060.
ASU baseball to complement your Sunday right here on KDUS AM 1060. Join the Sun Devils as they look to square off against LMU and finish the weekend strong. Head coach Ray Bloomquist knows how to lead his team to another win at home in 2026. Listen in live as ASU looks to defeat Loyola Marymount University. Pre-game coverage begins Sunday afternoon at 12:45 p.m. and first pitch at 1:05 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS app.
Get ready for an unbelievable experience at Salt River Fields. Immerse yourself in the excitement of spring training as your Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies take the field. Don't miss out. Grab your single game tickets now at saltriverfields.com. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, choose the attorneys at Sweet James. They help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. Pre-case review. Help available 24/7. Hablamos Español. 800-9-million. 800-9-million. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tickheavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Motley Crue. The return of the Carnival of Sins. September 16th. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. The crew celebrates the 20th anniversary of Carnival of Sins. Motley Crue, with performances by Tesla and Extreme. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Motley Crue, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Ready to refresh your space for less? At Living Spaces, thoughtful design and direct sourcing keep prices low while quality stays high. With sofas starting at just $295, queen beds from $195, and dining sets from just $295. Updating every room is within reach. Plus, enjoy fast, free shipping as soon as next day. So your new favorites arrive without the wait. Your next piece is waiting only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. is MMA Friday on the Sports Zoo with official UFC ranker Scott Lewis, brought to you by RTO Sullivan's, your home for every UFC event. The Sports Zoo is the only show in the Valley that gives you 1 full hour of MMA every week, featuring Scott Lewis's official UFC ranking changes, fight predictions for every weekly event, shocking MMA stories, and more. So tune in every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. and then head to RTO Sullivan's every Saturday to watch the fights. Go to RTOSullivans.com for a location near you.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert hanging out with you. And now I'm not alone. I've been alone for most of the program today because producer Evan decided to start his vacation a little early. Now we're going to do the MMA portion of what he's here for a little bit later, but my guy Rooster, I'm surprised he's even here this early. This is like way past his wake-up time. He's usually still sleeping. But he's joining me in studio here for, I think, the rest of the hour. You hanging out for us the rest of the hour?
I'm here the rest of the hour. I'm wide awake with ASU women's basketball on a tear. I haven't been on the last few days.
I know.
So I have a lot I want to talk about, Chris. I got a lot on my mind.
Perfect. So we got you for the next 45 minutes. You can get all of that off your chest. And yeah, ASU women's basketball, they're on an incredible run right now. They beat Iowa State last night. It's West Virginia tonight. So you're a guy conflicted. You went to West Virginia. ASU you've been in the Valley forever. So you're a little conflicted tonight. I'm not. I'm rooting for the Sun Devils, obviously. We love to see them do as well as they are. But I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals and Malik Willis. And you kind of popped in towards the end of my last segment. I think free agency is a huge opportunity for this team to vastly improve. And I don't know if it's going to lead to a lot of wins next season, but I do think it will set them on a course moving forward for Mike LaFleur to be in a position to 2 years, 3 years down the road to be able to win 10 games, make a wild card, maybe win the division, be competitive. I think this offseason can set them on that path. And I think to a lot of people, the guy that is going to be center to all of that is Malik Willis. And so I'll just pose the question that I posed in the tease to you, and we can see where this goes. Would it be a failure for the Cardinals and for Monty Ossenfort as a GM who I think is on the hot seat if they miss next week on Malik Willis and he picks Miami? Or he picks Cleveland, or he picks the Jets?
Listen, Malik Willis, while right now he is the hot name, he's the hot name because there is no hot name. I mean, what he's accomplished so far in the NFL is minimal statistically because he hasn't had that many opportunities. The small opportunities he had last year, and especially with LaFleur, those are the things that makes it intriguing.
Sure.
Those are the things that makes you think maybe this could work. But you hear the word that I just stressed right there? Maybe. I mean, this isn't a can't miss project. This isn't like if you miss on Malik Willis, oh my God, the world is falling apart. That being said, he could be the right guy. And again, could, maybe, if ands or buts, we know the saying about that. So while I do think there is potential there, this is not the can't miss, oh my God, you let Malik Willis out the building? This isn't that guy. If he turns out to be that guy, good for him and he earned it. But the person who would know it best is the guy we have right here in Arizona as our head coach. He'll know. So listen, if the Cardinals don't go after him, then we just found out what LaFleur in his internal thoughts truly believes about the possibilities that Malik Willis could bring, or the money's just wrong. It would be one of those two things there, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go after him. I think there's going to be an aggressive pursuit. There's just been so much noise about it that I think it would almost be shocking if they decided to just back out. And you're right. They have all of the connections in the world that I think allow this to be a perfect match of time and place, right? Sometimes you need to be in the right place at the right time with the right kind of need. And the Cardinals find themselves in an offseason where they need a quarterback because they're moving on from Kyler Murray. And they have a coach who does have that intimate knowledge, whether it's because he can turn to his offensive coordinator. Well, he can turn to his offensive coordinator who was there last year and say, do we want to go out and get this guy? Or he picks up the phone and he FaceTimes his brother and says, oh, what do we got?
They've already had those conversations.
Right, exactly.
While his brother was coaching Green Bay, who's he confiding in late night at 2 a.m. when they're both still up looking at film? He's calling his brother. And I don't care what teams they're coaching. When you have brothers that are coaching in the NFL and have grown that way, there is no doubt that, one, they are bouncing things like that. It might not be next week's strategy, but it could be, oh, we got this kid Malik Willis, and I can't believe they let him out of the building elsewhere. And you'd be surprised at what the possibilities He's like, those conversations have been had amongst brothers. Anyone who thinks they haven't is a fool. So that's what I'm saying when I say LaFleur he knows whether he wants him or not is my point. So what he's going to stress that to the Cardinals organization in whatever direction he believes, and then that dollar value and that want that they then attach to it, I think will be directly related to those late night conversations between brothers there, Chris.
Yeah, and I think it's just I've referred to it as a dart throw, right? That's the way I've described it on the show, because I think it is an unknown. And I think, to your point, Malik Willis is the top quarterback that is available in this market. And I think it's because of his high ceiling.
Hold on, it's not Kyler Murray? Oh, wait, he's not here.
No,
he's not going to be here. That's why we have this conversation.
Right, he's going
now.
to Minnesota. He'll be throwing touchdowns next year for Kevin O'Connell, and I can't wait to take those phone calls when that happens and hear those comments for everybody who tries to say that I told you so. But Malik Willis is a high ceiling option, but he is not the highest floor option. And I think that's what makes him enticing, is that there isn't always the high ceiling option that hits free agency. The high floor option's kind of always there, right? You can always get your Carson Wentz's. You can get your Jimmy Garoppolos. You can get, I know he was, the transition tag was put on him, the Daniel Joneses. You can find a high floor guy that can win you 7 to 8 games if everything goes according to plan. You can find those guys every single offseason. Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, these guys exist. Every free agent quarterback class has those guys. Very rarely do you get the Malik Willis types that hit free agency where it's like, wait a second, this guy could be more than my Carson Wentz's, than my Geno Smiths, than my Daniel Jones, my Joe Flacco's, my Russell Wilson's, my Jimmy Garoppolo's. This guy could be, and yes, it is a could be, but to me, when you are the Cardinals and you've made the decision to move on from Kyler Murray, and you've got an offensive-minded head coach, and you want to try to compete right away and get this thing off on a good start. You want to follow what the Suns did this past summer with Jordan Ott, right? You want to show that you've turned things around. Why wouldn't you take the dart throw for Malik Willis? The money doesn't matter to me. Don't give him a 5-year deal. But if he wants $25, $30 million a year and you're the only team that wants to pay it, do it.
Well, listen, here's the thing, Chris. At that price, and if that's the price I don't think that's the price, though, Chris.
You think the price is higher or lower than that?
Higher. I think Malik Willis, listen, he's got an agent, and his agent is saying exactly what you're saying, except an agent tongue to every single team out there. He is going to 100% guarantee $30 million plus. 100%.
I'm okay with that.
That's what, all right, if that's the number, but it's not going to be some 2020. He's not going to get the Justin Fields deal. That's not what this is going to be. Justin Fields was the dart throw, at least to the perception of everybody. Hey, he's got talent, and the Jets took their dart throw. We've seen what happened. The dart hit the wall. It fell on the floor. The tip actually broke. Now, what Malik Willis is, at least what his agent is presenting Malik Willis to be, is more than a dart throw. He's a dart throw from a guy who could throw darts. And whether he's going to hit the bullseye or just right outside is what his agent is selling. And again, the stats from last year sound ridiculous. It's over 4 games. I mean, he's going to go with completion percentage. He's going to go with QBR. He's going to go with ascending. He's going to be with all these things. So yes, that he's young, that you're getting him in his possible ascending prime. I mean, the agent of Malik Willis will not let him sign for less than $30 million. And I think if his agent actually does a Jerry Maguire type scenario where he shocks the world and writes his memo, then yeah, he's going to get him more than $30 million.
Yeah, and the money has never been the problem for me. It's the number of years. That's where it becomes a riskier proposition. Because if you want to guarantee 30, 32, 35, and I think it will come in under that, because I just don't know how many teams realistically have the cap space plus the need to be able to do this, right? The Raiders have a ton of cap space. They're taking Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall. The Titans have a ton of cap space. They've got their quarterback. They've got Cam Ward, right? The Jets have some cap space. Does Malik Willis want to go to New York, or does he rather go to Miami or Arizona where he has some connections, right? I just think there are reasons that the teams that have a ton of cap space fall short of being in the market or being a realistic destination, that it kind of pushes the price down a little bit. I think he gets more than Fields, but I think he gets less than this shocking $30, $35 million number that's out there. But at the end of the day, it's not about that for me. It is about the number of years. You start talking about a 4-year, 5-year deal for Malik Willis. Now we're talking about guarantees that are getting close to the $100 million mark, and that's where it becomes a risky bet. On a 2-year deal, let's say it's 30. Let's say it's 35, right? And I think that's the far end of the extreme. 2 years, 70. What are you guaranteeing? 40? 35? You're guaranteeing basically 1 year's salary, a little bit of next year's salary, and you have the out after year one. Okay, so be it. You create flexibility. We're going to give you 1 year. And I think Malik Willis is more inclined to take a short-term deal because if he does live up to the expectations, he's going to want to cash in. He probably doesn't want to sign a 4-year deal right now at $25 to $32 million because if he plays well, when's he going to get the 40, 45, 50, 55 resetting the market type deal? So I think this is going to play out perfectly for the Cardinals to get him on a short-term deal around the $30 million mark. Maybe it comes in at 28, maybe it comes in at 32, but somewhere in that range. And it is a no-brainer to me to do it. No-brainer from a risk perspective for this team to make the dart throw.
Chris, I love where your head is at, and I hope that could be the situation with a 2-year deal. But Malik Willis and his agent are going to take whichever team gives him the most money guaranteed, the longest contract with the most money. The value of the most money, whichever that deal is where he's going to go. He's going to take the paycheck right now. And whatever that paycheck is, the highest one is what him and his agent are. And what he's going to say to his agent or his agent's going to say to him is, wherever we are, you play like you can and we'll get you your next contract and we'll get you out of here even if it's bad. But this is the month. This is the time when you're going to make your big splash financially, that where you're going to take care of your family and then hope that, well, his agent isn't going to say hope. He's going to be much more positive about that. And that's when you're then going to take your next step, and then we'll get you an even bigger contract next. But this is the one that no matter what, we're going to take care of your family. So the Cardinals haven't traditionally brought the piggy bank to the table. And while it's not going to have to be a $40 or a $50 million piggy bank, it's going to be 30. And then that's where the battle's going to be with the years, like you said, and then maybe having to go up even a few more dollars. But I hope you're right, Chris.
Yeah, and I do think there is pressure on the organization, especially Monty, to get these types of rumors when they take on lives of their own. It almost becomes a certainty, right? There's an expectation now, I think, among the fan base that this is going to happen, that Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback of this team next year. So if it doesn't happen, there's this reaction that I think will initially happen of, oh, they failed. They missed. This just the Cardinals being the Cardinals, right? They can never get this right. That is going to be the immediate knee-jerk reaction to this if it doesn't work out, because it has gotten so loud about Malik Willis and all of the connections and LaFleur. And I mean, I'll play the drop again for everybody. LaFleur. You've got the Hackett stuff. You have just all of the reasons why Malik Willis makes sense for the Arizona Cardinals. So when it doesn't happen, that's your default. Your default is going to be to blame the organization. I don't think I would classify it in the tier of failure if they don't do this, because I'd like to see what the pivot plan is. But there's a portion of this fan base, I argue with them all the time about team tank versus team competitiveness. And there are going to be people out there that will be okay if they don't get Malik Willis, because they want this team to bottom out, win 2 or 3 games next year, and be in position to draft a quarterback next year. Yeah. Ugh. I mean, I battle it every day. I battle team tank every day. One day at a time, I take them on.
Well, if that happens and they don't get Malik Willis, I'm sure Colt McCoy is still looking for a job, retired a few years.
I think it'll be Jimmy.
If they want to tank themselves to the bottom, one of the greatest football names of all time, Colt McCoy. Love the name, love the guy. Decent backup while he was here, retired a few years. Yeah, bring him back. Let's go that way. Put $3 million, Colt McCoy, bring it all the way to the bottom. Did we make those Cardinal fans happy now, Chris?
I think it'll be Jimmy G instead. That'll be in here because of his connection to LaFleur from last year.
I said that completely tongue-in-cheek, joking to the bottom right there. Sorry, Colt McCoy. Lots of love from your time at Texas and time here.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see what they do. I think it'll happen early, because I think everybody who's in the mix for Malik Willis will want an answer sooner rather than later, so that they don't watch other quarterbacks go off the board. But I do think it is going to be one of the more fascinating free agencies that we've seen for a quarterback in a long time, because he's the top name out there, but he's not worth the top end money right now with what we've seen from him. But he's going to get paid. It's just a question of where, for how long, and for how much. But it does feel like there's going to be a lot of money thrown Malik Willis's way. And I tend to think that it is going to be the Arizona Cardinals that pay him that money. When we come back, your phone calls 480-864-1060. Always welcome here on the program. You can hang out with us on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. What Rooster is actually here for, the regularly scheduled programming for the Rooster. He's got the MMA hour tonight, so we'll talk a little bit about that, what he's got up his sleeve tonight. We'll get you ready for the weekend. All of it when we come back next year on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crows, Whiskey Myers, blues-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Southern Hospitality Tour. The Black Crows, Whiskey Myers. Saturday, August 15th. Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort are two of Scottsdale's most iconic entertainment destinations, elevated by one premier loyalty experience, Salt River Rewards. Earn points on gaming, dining, and purchases. Then redeem for free play, cash, or exclusive savings on dining, spa treatments, and hotel stays with breathtaking valley views. Join today and get up to $25 in free play. Salt River Rewards at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. Must be 21 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Life can change in an instant. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can feel overwhelming. The pain, the stress, and the uncertainty of what comes next. You don't have to go through it alone. The attorneys at Sweet James understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact an accident can have. They're here to help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to under the law. When you call Sweet James, you're connecting with a team of attorneys experienced in handling serious injury cases. Their work is driven by preparation, advocacy, and a genuine commitment to helping clients seek accountability and justice. Every case is different, and outcomes depend on the specific facts involved. If you've been injured in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James for your free case review. They handle everything for you so you can focus on healing. That's the Sweet James advantage. Help available 24/7. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
Right now at Superstar Car Wash, it's buy one wash, get one free. Yep, buy a wash, get a wash on us. Perfect for sharing and saving. Don't miss this limited time offer. Be super and stop by your nearest location today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, weekends now through March 29th. Be ready to have a great time. Amazing adventure awaits the entire family. New shows, shopping, jousting nights, non-stop feasting. Leave your cares behind. Happiness reigns at the Renaissance Festival. It's fun and affordable. Visit now through March 29th. Discount tickets available at Bashas' and Food City or online at arizona.renfestinfo.com. Presented by Delta Airlines, Bashas', Food City, Pepsi, Budweiser, and Guinness. Huzzah!
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
When your average fan goes to an NBA game, it doesn't matter if it's game 1 or game 82. Everyone healthy should be on the court giving 110% max effort. We've seen what a player like Victor Wembanyama could do to a franchise. All the greatest of the greats, when they hit the franchise, their team becomes an instant playoff team. I hate when players that are healthy are not playing in a regular season game.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
It's MMA Friday, brought to you by R.T. O'Sullivan's.
What a combination by Yuri Prohaska. That's it. He will do it.
At this level.
There's the advantage.
Oh my gosh. Just laid him. Whoa.
Go to rtosullivans.com for a location near you. Now, here with the Rooster, official UFC ranker at UFC.com, Scott Lewis.
All right, we gave Rooster some love. We play his Friday Open for his show here.
Now, normally we're on 5 to 6 p.m., and later tonight, after ASU women's basketball, I will have on official UFC ranker Scott Lewis to talk about the UFC tomorrow night, UFC 326. And again, you could always go to RTO Sullivan's, watch it, great crowd. And the main event tomorrow night is about, listen, if you're not a fight fan or you're trying to get someone to become a UFC fight fan, tomorrow night's main event, that's the fight. That's the moment. Listen, they're fighting for the BMF belt, a belt created by the UFC for BMFs. Google it yourself. But listen, we all know what that is. And basically what the UFC created, and this goes back, Chris, I don't know how much you follow the UFC or how much of a historian you are, but back in 2019, Nate Diaz and Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, squared off for what was going to be the BMF belt. That's when they started it. And everyone thought, like, it's not even a real title. Like, what is this? And what it turned out to be is one of the greatest inventions, I guess, on the fly that the UFC has created, because it really has become something. The Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal fight in 2019 was good, great, but it got stopped because of a cut. But then Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje in 2023 have another BMF belt for the BMF of the UFC. And basically what this means is, Chris, they find the baddest dudes in the UFC that go to war, that stand toe-to-toe, that put on exciting fights, that will fall on the sword, proverbially, in the cage. And they put these guys together when they're not champions because they know these guys bring such a show, bring such entertainment. The fans love them so much. You know what it's like? If people that are wrestling fans, WWE
sure,
fans.
Me. I'll raise my hand.
It's when The Rock didn't have a belt, but what was he?
Oh, he's the people's champ.
He was the people's champ. And The Rock could headline any event without the belt. Why?
Because he's the people's champ.
And what did the UFC do on that first BMF fight? When they had Jorge Masvidal fight Nate Diaz, who wrapped the belt around the winner? It was The Rock. They understood what they were doing. And The Rock, I guess, was the semi-blueprint for what it could be and what it's actually turned into. Because Dustin Poirier and Gaethje fought in 2023 for the BMF, and Gaethje, everyone thought he was going to lose that fight. He was an underdog, and he kicked off Poirier's head. Amazing knockout, which then goes to Gaethje versus Holloway in 2024 for the BMF, Max Holloway. And the greatest fight maybe in the history of the UFC, definitely the greatest ending in the history of the UFC, was Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway in 2024 for the BMF. Max Holloway picked apart Gaethje, Arizona's own Justin Gaethje, by the way, who's one of the baddest dudes, one of the toughest dudes, one of the most explosive. I mean, his name's the highlight, the human highlight. I mean, he's the highlight. I mean, so it's unbelievable that at the end of that fight, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje in 2024, Chris, there's 10 seconds left in the fight, and Max Holloway is winning it on all scorecards. And Max Holloway points to Justin Gaethje down to the center of the ring, meaning 10 toes, center of the cage, 10 seconds left. Let's just swing. Max Holloway had no reason to want to do that. He was winning the fight on every scorecard, 5 rounds, 24 minutes and 50 seconds of war while winning. And Max Holloway said, let's bring it to the center. They swing, and with 1 second left, Max Holloway knocks Justin Gaethje out cold. Head hits with one. I mean, the greatest fight, the greatest ending. And now we get Max Holloway to defend that BMF belt tomorrow night versus Charles Oliveira, who has had an incredible wild career of his own after losing a bunch of fights. He goes on a massive winning streak to become champion. And now, after proving himself for years and years and years, we get these two to rematch because they fought about 10 years ago. These guys were much different fighters then. Now, Oliveira was on a losing streak. Max Holloway was just beginning to ascend, and Oliveira lost to some random neck injury. So it's a rematch, but it's not. These are two different fighters. As exciting a fight we could possibly get, Chris. I can't wait to see it. Go to RTO Sullivan's. It will be the place to be tomorrow night for the UFC.
When you talk about combat sports and you talk about these matchups that everyone gets really, really excited about, sometimes they don't live up to the billing, right? You have the 2 big names on the poster, 2 big names on the marquee. You have the explosiveness at the press conference, but then the guys get in the cage or they get in the ring if it's boxing, and then it doesn't live up to the hype that months of anticipation build, days before with the antics of the press conference. What you just described And for those out there who maybe are unfamiliar with this and don't know, what you just described was the hype machine that we see all the time. But the difference here is it's going to live up to the billing. And you know it's going to live up to the billing.
Every time.
There's a guarantee that when you shell out your money for your Paramount Plus subscription to be able to watch this stuff, you're going to get a return on that investment. There is going to be no bait and switch this go around. So it's exciting. It's fun. You just mentioned one of the fights on what is a pretty decent card here tomorrow night out in Vegas, and I'm sure you'll break it all down later on tonight. Now, I think before we go to break and we close up shop here on the lunch break, I think we just want to let everybody know the lay of the land here. You are going to do the MMA Hour tonight on KDUS AM 1060. It's not going to be in its normal 5 to 6 slot. You're going to go on the air the moment the ASU game is over. Now, I don't know when that's going to be. Whenever the game is over, the game is over. But once Jeff Munn signs off, when ASU wins or loses tonight against West Virginia, the next voice you're going to hear is the Rooster, and he's going to have maybe a full MMA hour, maybe an abridged MMA hour. We'll see how the schedule takes us, but you will get an MMA hour tonight that gets you ready for UFC 326 tomorrow night.
What we do know, Chris, is that it will end at 8 p.m.
That's right. I've given you the out of, hey, 8 p.m., you're done. Whenever you start is when you start, depending on how the game goes. Last night, I think they got done at around 7:15. So that's kind of the range that I think you'll start to hear the Rooster tonight. So if you want to get yourself ready for UFC 326, the Rooster tonight will have you covered with a MMA hour following ASU women's basketball.
With official ranker Scott Lewis even calling in late, doing extra duty for us. And he's one of the less than 20 people in the world to put together the UFC rankings. And we get him right here on this station every week on Friday, normally between 5 and 6 p.m. But tonight, because of ASU women's basketball on a tear, and we're rooting for them. Well, maybe not tonight. They're going against West Virginia, Chris. You know what's on your screen right next to you, Chris?
I have to open up the computer here.
But what's on the screen right next to you?
I believe the screen right next to me does have a picture of you painted as a member of the West Virginia University.
West Virginia, #1 party school. Type it into Google. The first picture that comes up, 19-year-old Rooster shirtless with abs. Now I have one ab. Back then I had at least 6, Chris.
Yeah, so the Rooster will have you covered tonight for the MMA hour from 7:15. The moment the ASU game is done tonight,
up till 8.
You'll get to Rooster up till 8, getting you ready for UFC 326. When we come back here on the program, we've got all the stories we didn't get to. Rooster, he's been off the last couple of days. He walked in here. He's like, I got thoughts on Dylan Brooks. I got thoughts on the WBC. So we'll get to all of that as part of the leftovers, and we'll do it next here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The roar of the NTT IndyCar Series is back.
Robert Wickens, your leader, in for his final stop of the night. These guys haven't made a mistake, but a little problem with the right rear.
Take a look to the inside. No, Hicks slams the door into turn number 1.
They're side by side. Joseph Newgarden has made the pass.
Listen to the NTT IndyCar Series at Phoenix Raceway, live this Saturday.
12:30 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060. Locally owned and operated, the Angry Crab Shack is a restaurant that specializes in seafood boil with Asian and Cajun flavors and the freshest seafood in the valley. The Angry Crab Shack is relaxed and fun for friends and family, so put on a bib and eat with your hands, because at the Angry Crab Shack, the table is your plate and your hands are the knife and fork. The Angry Crab Shack, with multiple locations around the valley, as well as locations in Tucson, Casa Grande, and Yuma. Go to angrycrabshack.com to find a location near you. And at the Angry Crab Shack, they have prices that won't break the bank like other seafood restaurants. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and online at angrycrabshack.com.
When I was a kid, my dream wasn't a mansion. It wasn't a yacht. It was a 250cc Kawasaki dirt bike sitting in the garage. That garage and that bike represented freedom. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello. At A1 Garage Door Service, we know your garage holds more than tools. It holds dreams. From repairs to upgrades, call A1 Garage Door Service today or schedule online at a1garage.com.
A1 from day one.
Try the Chicken Melt Trio at Port of Subs. Protein packed with bold sauces and built to crush cravings. Order now at portofsubs.com.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
RTO Sullivan's, your local sports bar that brings the world of sports to you. From crispy wings, potato skins, mouth-watering burgers, handmade fish and chips, O'Sullivan's famous grilled Reuben, and so much more. RTO Sullivan's has the perfect meal to enjoy any game with. RTO Sullivan's has 3 locations across the valley, including East Mesa, North Phoenix, and Scottsdale, showing all sports packages including the NFL, college, NBA, NHL, MLB, Premier League, European soccer, and RTO's is still your home for all the UFC fights that will air each weekend on Paramount. RTO Sullivan's has it all. Check out more info at rtosullivans.com.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Ringo Starr and his all-star band. With friends Steve Lukather from Toto. From Men at Work, Colin Hay. From Average White Band, Hamish Stewart. Friday, June 12th, 7:30 p.m., Yamage Auditorium. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Danny Zalesko Presents.
Low T, start for free for a limited time. Get prescription testosterone therapy with no startup fee, only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone gives you more energy, stamina, and it'll help you lose weight and lose that dad bod for good. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. So skip the gimmicks and get prescription strength testosterone now at Red Mountain Weight Loss. It's a game changer. So don't wait. If you've got low T, get started for free. Meet with a board-certified medical provider online with no waiting from the convenience of your home or office. Book today and feel like yourself again. Only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Real testosterone. Real doctors. Real results.
Been crazy busy these days? Sounds like you could use a little we time. That means playtime at the AAA 4-Diamond Wekopa Casino Resort. Game time with more than 900 slots plus table games. Maybe a tea time on one of 2 nationally ranked courses. And definitely some hang time at WKP Sportsbook, the largest sportsbook in the state. Wekopa Casino Resort. It's we time.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, choose the attorneys at Sweet James. They help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. Free case review. Help available 24/7. Hablamos Español. 809-million. 809-million. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results. KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Indiana is not cheating. Lining up and punching the other guy in the face for 60 minutes, not against the rules. I challenge any of you social media whistleblowers to tell Kurt Signetti to his face that he is a cheater.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060, Chris Schubert. Rooster's hanging out with me here today. It's all the stories we didn't get to. Rooster's got a lot of opinions that he wants to share, but before we get that, we've got NASCAR over the weekend. Now, pay attention to your TV guide or your radio guide, because depending on how ASU and NAU do tonight and over the weekend, the schedule could change a little bit with NASCAR, but we have to make our picks. And so I saw John. He wants Christopher Bell over on the YouTube side of things. I'm going to double down for my pick from last week, and I'll take Bubba Wallace, who has the second most points in the Cup Series without a win, without a pole, without a top 5, but is doing a great job in the laps led department, or at least he was going into last week's race. So I'll pick him to win this week here in Phoenix.
And listen, I'm very green in my NASCAR racing.
But you want in?
I want in.
All right,
and you know what? I'm going to shock the world. And I'm going to continue to shock the world like he's been shocking
Tyler
the world.
Reddick?
Tyler Reddick, win again. Win again, Tyler Reddick.
It's funny. As a show, we've been doing this since we've started airing NASCAR here on the station. We've had one time where somebody has picked the winner, and it was producer Evan. And the reason why he picked Tyler Reddick is because Josh Reddick, the baseball player. That was his reasoning for picking Tyler Reddick that week. Tyler won. He's the only person to have picked a winner so far.
Did he have movie money on it on one of the sites?
I mean, you can text him. You've got his number. I don't know what he did.
I'm sure. Listen, Tyler Reddick had never won. I don't know if he'd ever won a race before he started this streak of winning. And I'm sure the first race, I'm sure he could have been 50, 60, 70, maybe more to 1. And then to think of him backing it up, I'm sure his odds didn't drop either. And then to back it up again, and now to back it up, I'm getting crazy. I got to open up the app. I'm gambling on Tyler Reddick now. It's on Movie Money. And for those on Chris's show that doesn't know what the Movie Money is, one, the best advice I give is from Vegas Vacation. We don't have to give that on your show.
Let me see if I don't know if I have it here. I'll look for it.
That's the best advice we give. But then the next best advice I give is that you should only be betting the movie money. What does that mean? If me and Chris went to the movies tonight, paid for an overpriced movie, overpriced popcorn, overpriced milk duds, and then we walked out 10 minutes in, Weekend at Bernie's 2 for me, Chris. So, and then we walk out. Me and Chris are not going to be in the parking lot going, oh my God, how are we going to pay our rent? Let's start robbing cars. That's why it should only be the movie money. What you're willing to pay the overpriced ticket, overpriced popcorn, overpriced soda, and walk out with, like you would, that's what you should only be gambling with. Now, Chris, if you're a high roller, maybe you could bring 100 people to the movies and walk out 10 minutes in and not care. For me, maybe 2 or 3 people I could bring to the movies and walk out and say it was just a bad evening. That's what I mean by betting the movie money, Chris.
You haven't been on the last couple of days. You came in here red hot, ready to share your opinion on a couple of different things. I'll let you take it where you want. I know you wanted to talk about Dylan Brooks, and I talked about it a little bit in the open. Arrested early this morning on suspicion of DUI, and I'll just reiterate what I said in the open of the show. This is a guy who makes millions upon millions of dollars. The excuse for getting behind the wheel, there isn't one. There isn't an excuse to do that. When you've had 1, 2, 3, 5, 12 drinks, there is zero excuse when you make that kind of money. And you can call a Waymo and it'll drive for you. You call the NFLPA number, or excuse me, the NBA PA number. They'll have somebody for you. I know you said to me during the break, you could call a friend. I mean, you got to have somebody that you can call in that moment. Getting behind the wheel, zero excuse for that.
He could have called a Uber. And what's a Uber? That's a Rooster Uber. I was out last night between 1 and 3 in the morning, driving from casino to casino on the 101 in Scottsdale. I mean, listen, I was telling someone just yesterday who wasn't from Arizona, who wasn't from Scottsdale, a story because some lady was on my butt in North Scottsdale. I didn't know it was a lady or a guy. Turned out to be a lady, but tailgating me because I was doing 25 in a 25. And I get it when you're driving 25 miles per hour and you're behind someone, you're like, why is this guy? Why? Because I'm in North Scottsdale. And I know that when you're in North Scottsdale, they are looking to pull you over. And then if you were drinking, they are then looking to give you a DWI. You're not getting off in North Scottsdale. Now, I'm not even I never drink and drive. I'm just talking about driving normal in Scottsdale. They, especially this time of year, spring training, whenever it's season, the police in Scottsdale are doing their job. And what they do, I guess, better than anybody, Chris, and we've seen this for years now here in the Valley. For the 10 years I've been here, we've seen the names. When the Scottsdale police find someone driving under the influence and they are famous, there is no, oh, you're a son? We're going to take you home. Oh, no, it's, you're a son? You are getting this DWI and I'm getting my name in the paper. We've seen this time and time again. If you're famous here in the Valley and you get pulled over, you are not getting a superstar treatment. What you're getting is arrested, Chris.
But it's also just insane to me that we continue to have these stories pop up over and over and over again. And we've now got technology to where cars drive themselves.
Yeah.
Cars drive themselves. Waymo. It drives
scary,
for you.
Still.
And to still have these stories pop up where guys who make millions upon millions of dollars and can
hard to imagine
and can just call somebody. It's just insane to me that it keeps happening. And
like
it's all allegedly, it's suspicion, all that stuff. I'll put all those disclaimers out there, but it's still such a stupid thing to do.
I joked that he could have called a Uber, which I tell my friends when they should call me. I tell everyone that knows me, I'm up late at night. I'm a night owl. If you ever need a ride from drinking, call me. I don't drink. I will pick you up. So, like, no big deal. My friends know that, oh, Ubers are free. Yeah. And I'm sure Dylan Brooks has to have a friend somewhere. If amongst all the other options you gave him, where's his friend? Where's that one friend that he grew up with that's like, oh, for $100,000, I'll be your personal driver. I'll pick you up. I'll get your laundry. I mean, where's that guy even? So just bad decisions across the board. Let's get to something more positive.
You want to talk about the WBC?
Oh, you were jacked up about it.
What's going on behind you? I got Mexico and Great Britain right behind you. It's 1-1 in the 6th.
Listen,
so you've got like 90 seconds. I'm just going to put you on the clock here.
United States -9.5 versus Brazil today. That's just an amazing line right there. -9.5 in a baseball game.
I mean, it was just in the exhibitions. They've been crushing the baseball. So I think the expectation is runs aplenty tonight for Team USA.
But I did something that's so unpatriotic. I guarantee the USA is going to win now.
Because you bet against them.
Oh, I bet huge against them. The Dominican Republic.
That's producer Evans. Listen, he loves their odds.
They were minus 460 3 days ago, which is when I loaded up on them. Right now, the Dominican Republic, I mean, they were plus 460. I was going to say plus 460, excuse me. They're now plus 330. So they've dropped a ton since listen, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado.
Oh, it's
Soto. I mean, their lineup's as nasty as the Americans.
Oh, their 1 through 9 may be the best lineup in the WBC. The question is the pitching, but from a lineup perspective,
you know what they have over the Americans? They want it more. I know the Americans are all jacked up right now and they want to win and they're saying all the right things. But and if they get to the finals, I'm not saying they're going to lay down their bats or not throw their stuff. The Dominican players, I seen it in spring training in week 1. The first day, the Diamondbacks were playing, I forget which team, but Ketel Marte ran over to the other team. He was in the outfield with his Dominican player friends. They were you could see how excited they were. And we've seen the early exhibition games with Dominican and their fans. They want it. I'm not saying that matters, but to me, like you were talking about how people want this. It's exciting. I think the Dominicans are going to win. I loaded up on them. For Team USA, I handed you the championship. I'm the mush of all mushes.
That's going to do it for us here on the lunch break. You got the MMA hour a little bit later on today. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday. Have a good week next week. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.